Thank you so much for joining me today in the celebration of 40 years of women at LaSalle. Just to start off, you want to share with us your name, your class year, and what your current position is?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. So my name is Jamie Antignano. I am the fourth generation of Angelo's Restaurant, and I graduated LaSalle in 2012.
Awesome. And so talk a little bit about what you were involved with when you were a student at LaSalle. Were you in any clubs, on any sports teams, and were there any particular programs that really left an impact on you as a student?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was kind of involved in a little bit of everything. I, at some point, played basketball. I ran track. My last couple years was on student council and was participating in that, was head of the prom committee at some point, like kind of dabbled in a little bit of everything. I would say that was actually the most important thing to me, was having a little bit of variety, and it kind of not only taught me how to multitask, but got me into all different kinds of friend groups, interacting with so many different types of people, that I think it wasn't just one particular thing. I think being able to play sports and learning the discipline from that, to student government and learning, how to interact with different classmates and colleagues and teachers and things like that, was really worthwhile to me.
That's great. And thinking about not just those programs, but were there any specific teachers or faculty and staff members that really had an impact on you?
Mr. Ciccone was so great. I know he's still at LaSalle and getting involved in some new chapters as well, but he was wonderful. I loved Dean Martin. I loved, Mr. Kavanaugh. We had such a great core group of people and professors there that I think they all played such a role in, not only my development there, but so many other students' lives. Everyone's from the guidance counselors to your home advisors to, your teachers, to your sports coaches. Like Coach Reddy was my basketball coach. So I think they all played such an important role in not only my development, but in everyone's development at LaSalle.
That's great. And we've heard a lot throughout these interviews that teachers and programs have left a really strong impact on all of these women that we've been interviewing. So it's great that you've had a positive experience as well. So thinking about after you graduated from LaSalle, what was that journey for you?
So when I graduated LaSalle in 2012, I went to Bentley University right outside of Boston. And I had 3 degrees that I graduated with. So I graduated with a degree in economics, finance, and then a minor in marketing. So I knew that I wanted to own a business. I didn't know what it would be, and so I wanted to be so well-rounded that could dabble in a bunch of different things. And then when I graduated Bentley in 2016, I went on to do corporate finance for TJX for a couple of years right outside of Boston, ended up going into their buying program before I left. And then in 2018, my dad approached me and wanted to step back from the family business, and ended up coming on board full-time to own Angelo's Restaurant, which didn't exactly know the pandemic was right around the corner at that point, and getting into a restaurant was not the safest bet, but I've learned more in my past 6 years here than I could have learned in 10 anywhere else.
And so taking on a family business, what has that been like for you from that time until now?
Definitely challenging. I mean, I came into such a well-established business that not only had our customers known me since I was a baby, but all of our staff did well as well. So that can be a little challenging, stepping into a role where, people have known you for so long as just a kid. But I really think that all of my experiences at LaSalle, whether that had been learning different leadership skills or learning how to interact with all sorts of different people, the diversity at LaSalle really helped with that. And then going into this role where I'm constantly interacting with different types of people and managing a team of 40 now, that everything that I learned there helped to get me where I am today.
And do you still feel support from the LaSalle community today?
Of course. I mean, look what we're doing now. But I would say absolutely, from the teachers that still come in, to the deans, to being able to help with the Alumni Association, to even we just had our 100th anniversary, and most of the vendors that we teamed up with were not only LaSalle grads, but women-led businesses that were LaSalle grads as well. So it's been so much fun to still network and connect with all of those people that either I went to school with or now have that bond that we're alumni, and really carry out that relationship to our next chapters of life.
That's very great to hear, and it makes us happy at LaSalle that you're still so well connected and you still give back to the school as well. And so we're sitting here on the historic Federal Hill. do you think that you are serving this community in a way, especially being here for so many generations?
Yeah, I mean, we not only from the charity work that we do, we have a Choo Choo charity that we donate. All of the proceeds to our train go to a different children's charity every month. But not only that, I think Rhode Island, we're so nostalgic, and we are so, as much as we love change, we hate change too, and I think it's been so outstanding, especially during our 100th year, to see the reaction of the community and how important Angelo's is to so many people around us, whether you've lived in the state and you've moved away, or you've lived here your entire life, or you're a first-time guest and your grandparents are bringing you for the first time. It's really been so meaningful to not only myself, but to my entire family, to really see the impact that Angelo's does have. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we know how to make soup and chicken parm, and you don't realize the memories shared at these tables that, you know, these are the original tables from the early 1900s. If these could talk, you know, the stories that they would tell. So it's been so worthwhile to not only hear those stories, but to really see the impact of what we can do, especially in Federal Hill, where it has been a lot more change. And for us to be here 100 years and hopefully 100 years more, it's been really inspiring over the past year to hear the stories and to see everyone come in, whether they're familiar faces or first-time guests.
That's great. And as you know, like LaSalle, a big part of our community is service. So that's great that you found your own avenue of how to approach the community through service. That's great. And thank you for so much for all of your support that you've had for our community as well. And just thinking about women in business in general, what has it been like being a female business owner?
It definitely has its own set of challenges and advantages. I mean, I think anyone can recognize that. I think being a woman gives you a little bit more empathy and a little bit more emotional support to especially this industry that is very much so male dominated. And to have a woman in charge, let alone a young woman in charge, can have its own set of disadvantages. But I always try to look at it every day as, you know, this is an even playing field. I live my life by, we just want to be fair. I don't care if I'm not everyone's favorite person in the world, but if they can respect the honest job that we do, then that's all that matters to me. And I just want to make sure that this is a safe and welcoming environment to everyone that comes in, just like how it was at LaSalle, that we can support as many people that come through those doors, whether they're guests, whether they're employees. It means so much to me to not only represent LaSalle, to represent our state, to represent, you know, being a young woman-owned business. It really does. It is something that I stand for, to really make sure that people understand not only how difficult it is, but how rewarding owning your own business and being women-led can be as well.
And what is some advice that you would have for any current LaSallians who are in the future thinking about owning their own restaurant or just owning their own business?
I would say my number one piece of advice is take risks, because I think LaSalle creates such a welcoming and safe space that you have the ability to try new things, to get involved with different clubs, different people, different sports, that you can succeed, you can fail, but it's a safe space to do so. And I think that when I was there, something that I really took advantage was trying a variety of things, seeing what you like, seeing what you don't like, see how you can prepare yourself to not only go to college, but beyond that too. I mean, if you're interested in leadership roles, get right involved. If you're interested in different hobbies that may carry on throughout the rest of your life, go for it. Like, there's so many clubs that and different areas that you can be involved in that there's no point not to take advantage of it. And I think if I look back on my experience at LaSalle now, I'm very grateful that I had parents and a support system that pushed me to do those things, because you don't get that time back. If I could go back to LaSalle tomorrow, I 100% would. And I very much so value my time there. So make the most of every day, get the most experiences that you can, try new things. It's okay to fail at them, but it'd rather be in a safe space than, you know, later on in life where it may not, the world isn't as forgiving. So I would just say, take risks, have fun, don't take the time for granted, and just live life like the LaSalle motto is, and, you know, just keep going and have a great time.
That's great, and thank you for that advice as well. I think it's important for especially young women to hear that, and it's inspiring to see you're a younger LaSalle alum and you're in this like position of running and owning this business. So it's great, and thank you so much for meeting with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.